I'm attorney Louis Haskell, and I'm at the Hoi Tung Dao Lake Reservoir, really, in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And I think I'm going to finish off my series on the 20% deduction for what is called pass-through entities, but really businesses and real estate investors. I've talked about specified service, trade, and business. I've talked about real estate. So I guess this one is just for everybody else. If you're not a specified service, then the rules for the pass-through entities are fairly straightforward. You get to deduct 20% of your qualified business income from your 1040 return, from your tax return when you file. For the qualified, for the non-specified service people, you have kind of two sets of rules. One set of rules is for people who are married and have taxable income of less than $315,000, $157,500 for everybody else. And that is, you just take your 20% offset. Now, I discussed in another recording where you could have some issues with your deductions and whatnot, but for most people, as a general rule, that's how it would work. If you're above those income thresholds, you have two tests for how much you are allowed to deduct. It might be something less than the 20%. There are two tests, and you get to pick which one you want to use. If you have a good-sized payroll, if you have a lot of employees, so for example, let's say you're a restaurant and or a manufacturing business of some sort, so your payroll is significant, then you would just take 50% of your payroll. For a lot of people, that means no cap at all. You would just take the 20% of your qualified business income. I'm not subject to this rule because I'm a service business, and if my income were to be too high, I don't get anything. But I have a large payroll. My payroll is more than my profit. So 50% of my payroll will always be more than 20% of my qualified business income. So for a lot of folks, that cap means that you get most, if not all, of your 20%. For other folks, such as real estate investors, who I talked about in another video, there is a second rule that may come into play. And that is, you get to take the sum of 25% of your payroll and 2.5% of your invested capital, what we call the basis of, or depreciable basis of your property. So, if you have, say, plant and equipment that you've invested $1 million in, or real estate that you've invested $1 million in, you would get 2.5% of that is $25,000. Now, if that's the entirety, if you have no payroll, aren't these fish great? If you have no payroll, then your cap would be $25,000 or 20%, whichever is less. So, we have spent a fair amount of time talking about this new provision in the new tax law, and it is an exciting provision. I think this is where the big money's going to be for a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of small business people, and it may help some large ones too, but certainly a lot of small business people get a pretty significant tax break. It's going to help a lot of clients of mine. It's going to help me and my wife. And I'm really looking forward to working with people on this and, really digging in and getting at the nitty-gritty, at the nuances of this new law. But, it came out while I was on vacation, so I've done a bit of a travel blog / tax blog here, but it's been fun, and I'll be home soon, and it'll be tax season not long after I get back, and so let's get to it.